Hey guys, what's up? PipSnipers here, back for another update. Let's take a look at XRP over here. Going all the way back to April 7th. What do we see on the chart over here? We have a 5-wave move to the upside in the form of a leading diagonal. Notice how the waves are overlapping over here, right? And now what I'm thinking is that instead of this being a wave 2 or a B wave and then this being a wave 3 or a C wave, what I'm thinking is, what if this was your wave 1 and then you come down in a B, and then your C wave would be like this, chop around to these lower fibs and then blast off from there. Okay, so now we've been tracking this structure in the Discord level for level, and I have been walking my members throughout this correction. We're still trending down within a descending channel, and it looks like we rejected off of the 50% fib for your wave 4, and now we're coming down into the DCA zone for your wave 5. So now the DCA zone would be right here from 212 to 2.00 at the 50% and 61.8% fib. Now these fib supports were found by taking a fib from the April 7th low here up to the May high. Okay, so as you guys can see, we bounced off the 50%, then came up to the 50% retracement, found from this high on May 23rd down to this low on May 30th. See how we rejected off of it here? And now we're coming down to the 618 and 702. So 2.0092, 1.9247, and I would say worst case scenario would be 1.84 with the possibility of a wick down to 1.7395. If we come down to 1.7395, I would consider that like a very big flush of all of the over leveraged longs in the market. There is a possibility we can wick there for sure. Like we could have like a quick wick down and then it pops up from there, right? It could definitely do that, but mainly we would be targeting these fibs over here. So this green zone is our DCA zone, 2.1280 to 2.0092. Okay, if you come down into this region, and then this is your max DCA zone. Now this would be considered kind of like our sell side liquidity of this range. So this was our range right over here. Okay, you see how you took out the highs of the range? So that was your buy side liquidity being taken over here, but we haven't taken out this sell side liquidity right here. So if we can take out both sides of the range and sweep the equal lows over here, this equal low sell side liquidity, right? Because there's lots of buy stops stacked under this trend line, then it's likely it'll be the last sweep before we finally have that expansion to the upside. Okay, so XRP, it does look bullish. Don't forget that XRP has been consolidating for over 180 days within this Wyckoff free accumulation schematic, right? So you see how congested the price is over here? That's why I say DCA, because we can pop off for wave 5 very quickly, and it won't give people enough time to react. So yeah, as you guys can see here, we're just following the waves perfectly. This was your start of your impulsive structure on XRP back in July of 2024. You had a WXY correction. Then you had a wave 3 with an extension of the 5th wave of your 3rd wave. Come down for a wave 4, and then you have a wave 5 of 3. And then this would be your WXY correction for your wave 4. And now we're just chopping sideways on the right hand corner of the range of this 180 plus day long range. So you see how congested the price is over here? So DCAing over here is key, And like I said, worst case scenario, we come down to 1.84, 1.7395. That wouldn't be something to worry about. You should actually take a look at that from the perspective of opportunity rather than from a negative light, because you'd not only be coming down to extremes, but you'd also be back testing this range over here. You see this range? See how many times we've tested it as support? So if we we actually did come down here, right? But you may see one more flush below it, just over here. You see? We may see that. So don't panic if we get that, but I'm just pointing out that possibility. But the reason I zoomed out is to show you that what we're looking at over here, when you're in the thick of it, it's just a blip on the radar, right? You know, like even over here, when we were holders all throughout here, remember this range? In the thick of it, it seemed like XRP was a dead coin, right? But I was walking you guys throughout this whole entire range, telling you that none of these moves are random, right? And it's just consolidation before the big breakout. And now that we're over here, like when we were over here within this Wyckoff range, which we were in for over 800 days, it seemed like XRP would never break above 50 cent or a buck. But now that we're over here, and it seems like the sentiment seems like we're in a bear market. You see what I'm saying? So it's just change your perspective and see how far we've come, but also realize that when you're in the thick of it, it may seem like it's never ending and it's very painful, but just look at it from a place of opportunity. You want to slowly DCA in. Don't ape in all your money at once into one order. And yeah, just position yourself before we get that markup phase. Now, in my last video, I did say that what if instead of this being a WXY correction, right? WXY correction. What if it's a WXYX and then a Z, where we take out these lows on April 6th? That's the absolute worst case scenario if we lose the 886, 786 retracement. But I don't think we will, considering the setup that we have on Total 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at Total 3 over here. Okay, so you can see here okay, so look at Total 3 on the monthly time frame over here. So this is Total 3 on the monthly. And you see March and April were always the backtest months. And then, so like March and April of 2022, we found resistance there. Then 2 years later, March and April, we find resistance. March and April, right? March, April of 2022, rejection. March, April of 2024, rejection. But when have we ever backtested it as support? Well, that was in 2025, right over here. See how we backtested it? We backtested it in March and April of 2025. See how we closed above it? Right here. So, and like I said, we're likely going to fill in this May wick from 958 billion to 843 billion. We may not fill that in within the month of June, but we're eventually going to come back to tag it, right? Whether we manipulate down to the fibs first and then backtest it and then come back up to fill the wick, right? We would manipulate down to the fibs first and then fill the wick, or we could just fill it in right now, right? So it depends, but just remember that when we zoom out, we still have bullish structure here, and we're also above the 50 EMA, the 50-month EMA. Look how well we've used it in the past. Okay, so this is the 50-month EMA. Or sorry, it's the 21-month EMA. So you see how we used it as support here? We used it as a base in 2024, but we didn't have that much of a rally. All this was in November 2024 was just a push up and a back test of the March and April highs of 2024, right? Now we're just slowly grinding our way up. But on the way up here, there's going to be shakeouts, right? Just like we're seeing with XRP. It's just shakeouts, and the price is very congested within its range. So eventually we'll get that breakout. Just stay patient and HODL, DCA. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. What we would want to see here on XRP going forward is, let me go back to the XRP chart here. Okay, so what we would want to see on XRP here going forward is a 4-hour close back above 2.2468 and 2.3933 in order to invalidate more downside. But for now, just make sure to DCA once we dip into this region. 2.128 and 2.0092, and then the 618 down to the 786 right here. Worst case scenario, we wick right over here. Right here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next one.